Life in Africa, Chapter 12, Section 1. Essential question: why were oral traditions important in Africa? Because many different languages and customs are found in Africa, still many African cultures share certain traits. These cultures have their roots in ancient civilizations that developed in Africa. The importance of family. Family relations were very important in Africa, and the connection between these people that were blood marriage or adoption is called kinship. And kinship also helped form government groups in African societies. And often the decisions were made by the eldest member of that group. Another bond that was made is they also felt loyalty to each other. You can compare it to how you probably feel loyalty towards your family or friends. Now, clans form a larger group, and this is when you have a common ancestry, which means you share ancestors. Work and culture. Farming was at the center of these African villages. Now, women did what you would consider a traditional woman's role, where they prepared food and they cared for children. They also carried water to the village. The men did things like care for the large animals, and they also farmed. And children did help too. They often gathered firewood, and they would help their fathers tend to the flocks. And then the children would usually help the mothers keep the house clean. And this is also how they would learn traditions, is while they're in the care of their parents and performing these tasks. Now, some people had very specific types of job, which we've learned over and over and over is called specialization. Some people wove textiles, which you can go back to the kente cloth or the kuba cloth or the andrinka cloth that is on page 340 of your book. They also made agriculture tools, and stronger agriculture tools made for better farming, which made for more food, which would eventually lead to more people. And then other people did things like trade. An oral tradition. Now, for much of Africa, there was no written language for centuries. And as a result, they didn't have what was called a written history, like we have a written history. Instead, they passed down their traditions and their history through storytelling. And the people who did this were called griots. And the griots were storytellers, they were historians, and they were also performers. They're a very large part of the religious rituals that are used to appeal to ancestors, and they believe that if they prayed to the ancestors, that they would bring them good fortune. They believed that their ancestors watched over them. They also believed in something called animism, which we talked about briefly the other day, and that this is the idea that souls existed in natural objects such as animals, plants, or even stones. More about West African griots. They performed at births, harvest festivals, celebrations of various kinds, and other important events. A griot may play music while retelling his history, and the instruments and vocal styles of the griots influenced popular music in West Africa today. All right, please do not forget to take your notes in Cornell format. Have them ready for me tomorrow when I come around to check them, and we will play a Kahoot based on what we learned in class yesterday, what I lectured on yesterday, and over this particular tutorial. The two different Kahoots will make up your review for your quiz. That will be on Monday. All right, see you in class tomorrow.